78% of developers now reach for Claude when they write code. That number comes from an analysis of coding subreddits, and the reasons people give are always the same too: the size of the context window and the quality of the code that comes back. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. Most of those developers are leaving Claude's single most powerful feature switched off. It is called skills. And a skill is not a prompt, not a setting, not a paid add-on. It is a small file that you drop into a folder that turns Claude from a smart assistant into something that follows your team's exact engineering process. In the next 11 minutes, I'm going to show you the 7 Claude skills that are actually worth installing this week. Real repos, real star counts, real commands you can run today. Number 1 has over 22,000 stars and fixes the most annoying thing Claude does. And at the end, I'm going to show you the one mistake that can turn any of these 7 skills into malware on your machine, plus a free tool that catches it. Let's get into it. First, some quick context because it makes the whole list make sense, just 30 seconds max. A Claude skill is a folder with a file called skill.md inside it. That file has a little bit of YAML at the top, a name and a description, and then plain markdown instructions underneath. It can also bundle in things like scripts, templates, and reference docs alongside it. Here is the clever part, and the reason you can install dozens of these without slowing Claude down. It uses what's called progressive disclosure. At startup, Claude only reads the name and description of each skill, roughly 100 tokens each. It matches your task against those descriptions, and only when it finds a match does it load the full instructions. The scripts and references load later still, only if they are actually needed. So the cost of having a skill installed but unused is basically nothing. That is why this list is worth your time. You can install all 7 and only pay for the ones you actually trigger. Let's get into number 1. This is one of the most starred Claude skills in the entire ecosystem. There's over 22,000 stars at the moment, and it's MIT license. It solves the most common frustration people have with Claude Code. You've seen this before. You ask Claude to refactor a module, you come back 10 minutes later, and it has forgotten the original goal and seems to be off fixing something unrelated. The insight behind this skill is one line. Claude's context window is volatile RAM, but the file system is permanent storage. So why not write the plan to disk? When you start a complex task, the skill creates a structured plan file with phases, progress, tracking, and a findings log. And it enforces a few hard rules. Rule 1, never start a complex task without writing a task_plan MD first. Rule 2, the 2-action rule. After every 2 searches, views, or browse operations, save what you found to disk immediately. So even when the context window fills up and older messages fall out, the plan on disk keeps Claude anchored to the original goal. This one ships as a plugin and works across Claude Code, Cursor, OpenAI Codex, and Gemini CLI. If you use Claude for anything that takes more than a couple of minutes, install this one at the user level and forget about it. It just works in the background across every project. Now, number 1 keeps Claude focused. The next 2 skills make it an expert in a specific domain. These are the skills written by the people who literally build the tools. So number 2, web quality skills. This one is from Adi Osmani. If you do front-end work, you know the name. He is a Chrome engineering lead and the author of half the JavaScript performance advice on the internet. This is a collection of 6 skills covering performance, core web vitals, accessibility, and SEO. The core web vitals skill is the standout here. It breaks down all 3 metrics, LCP, INP, and CLS, with specific optimization checklists, the common causes of bad scores, debugging snippets, and framework-specific fixes for Next.js, React, Vue, and Nuxt. For interaction to Next Paint alone, it covers input delay reduction, optimizing event handlers with request idle callback, so your analytics stop blocking the main thread and deferring third-party scripts. This is the Chrome team's performance research, all packaged so Claude applies it to your actual code base. Moving on to number 3 is HashiCorp agent skills. This is HashiCorp's own official collection from the company that makes Terraform, Vault, Consul, and Packer. When the creator of the tool publishes the skills, the output tends to be authoritative. There is a style guide skill that generates Terraform following HashiCorp's official conventions: correct file organization, naming, variable validation, encryption by default, least privilege. But the one that justifies the whole install is Terraform test. Writing Terraform test is one of those jobs where the syntax is easy, but the patterns are not obvious. When to use plan mode versus apply mode? How do mock providers work? At nearly 20,000 characters, this skill encodes all of it: test blocks, run blocks, assertions, mock providers, and parallel execution. If Terraform is part of your daily work, these are essential. So that covers focus and deep domain expertise. Next up is 2 collections that try to encode an entire engineering team. For number 4, we have the most ambitious collection on this list. It attempts to encode the entire software delivery lifecycle from epic planning all the way through code review, testing, and quality gates. This one uses a numbered naming system that mirrors the workflow. The 400s are about execution, like task executor and test executor. The 500s are about quality. There's story quality gate, code quality checker, regression checker. The 600s are about auditing. There's docs auditor, code base auditor, security auditor even. And here's the smart design decision. The skills are kept separate on purpose. The test executor does not write production code. That mirrors how good engineering teams actually split up implementation, review, and testing. It works with things like linear or in a plain file-based mode with markdown task files and a Kanban board. Number 5 now takes the opposite approach. Instead of one big pipeline, the Claude agentic framework gives Claude a broad set of foundational engineering habits. Test-driven development, the red, green refactor cycle, a debugging skill with real methodology like reproduce, isolate, trace, hypothesize, test, fix, verify, plus a checklist of the usual suspects like off-by-one errors, async timing, and state mutation. Then it also covers refactoring, optimization, dependency management, and more. What I like here is the restraint. Most of these are under 2,500 characters and focus on method, not specific syntax. So they are language agnostic and lightweight. Install them at the user level and Claude just follows good engineering practices by default. On to number 6. This one has under 50 stars on GitHub at the moment, and yet it is one of the best crafted skills on this entire list, which is your reminder that star counts are a discovery signal, not necessarily a quality score. This one gives Claude a professional pull request review workflow driven by the GitHub CLI. Claude pulls a diff with the GitHub CLI, reviews it against a real checklist, and writes the kind of structured, useful PR feedback you wish every reviewer left. If you are a solo developer or on a small team without a heavy review culture, this is giving you a second set of eyes on every change. And last but not least, number 7, Snyk Fix. Full disclosure, this is Snyk's own official skill, and it does one job extremely well: automated vulnerability remediation. It connects to the Snyk MCP server, so Claude can actually see the vulnerabilities in your dependencies. Here's the loop that makes it so good. When it finds a vulnerable dependency, it does not just bump to the latest version and hope. It finds the minimum version that resolves the issue, checks for breaking changes, and regenerates the lock file. Then it does validation. It reruns the Snyk scan to confirm the vulnerability is gone, runs your test suite, and checks for regressions. If the fix introduces a new problem, it iterates up to 3 attempts, or it rolls everything back. That validation loop is the difference between a real fix and a version bump that breaks your build. So that is the 7. Every one of them can save you real time this week. But there is a catch that applies to all of them, and it matters more than any single skill on this list. Okay, I promised you the one mistake that turns any of these into a weapon, and here it is. It's the uncomfortable truth. A skill is instructions and often scripts that run with your permissions on your machine. You're not installing a document, you're installing code. And the ecosystem here is young and messy right now. One analysis found prompt injection in 36% of the skills it tested and over 1,400 malicious payloads across the ecosystem. Separate research showed that 3 lines of markdown in a skill.md file were enough to hand an attacker shell access to a developer's machine. So what should you do? Treat skills exactly like any third-party dependency. 3 rules for you. Number 1, read the skill.md file and any bundled scripts before you install it. It is markdown and shell, not a compiled binary, so you can read every line. Rule number 2, check the source. Skills from the likes of HashiCorp or Snyk or a known name like Adi Osmani carry a lot less risk than an anonymous repo. Rule number 3, review the allowed tools field in the front matter. That is what tells you what the skill is permitted to touch. So 3 things to take away here. First, skills beat clever prompting. A good skill.md file gives you the same expert behavior every time instead of having to re-explain your standards in every chat. Second, the best skills come from the people who own the problem. HashiCorp from Terraform, Adi Osmani for web performance, Snyk for security. Start there. And third, every skill is code. The same openness that makes them powerful also makes them dangerous. So vet them like you would your dependencies. Which now brings me to the one thing I want you to do before you install anything from this video. Scan them first. If you're looking for new skills and you're exploring via the various registries like Tessel.io or skills.sh, you'll notice that each skill listed on there has some security checks around them that you can use to validate further. In addition to that, you can use Snyk Agent Scan locally to scan the skills that you've already set up on your machine. It is a free and open source tool, and it points at your skills folder to check every installed skill in MCP server for exactly the things we just talked about: prompt injection, malware payloads, hard-coded secrets, and credential handling. Run it once on what you already have installed. I think the results might surprise you. The link to Snyk's Agent Scan and to all 7 skills will be in the description below. Run the scan, then tell me in the comments which skill flags something for you. On that note, that does it for this video. If you got value out of it, be sure to like it down below and share it with somebody who could put it to use. And if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and happy, safe coding, everyone.